and not like, okay, walk outside and it's like tense, you know, giving them anxiety and things like that, to where they have to like start at a young age worrying about like how they look or how they dress or just this or that. Like that's not like my plan with them.
Dreamy, I have 2 daughters, and their names are Dream is my oldest daughter, and True is the second oldest. Those are my 2 girls.
Okay, so Kanye West is going off on the Kardashians once more, and at this point, it shouldn't be so surprising because he's always dragging his former in-laws for one thing or another. Sometimes he really seems to hate the Kardashians, but this time he might have a valid reason for his rant because he's only confirming what he has been trying to tell us. He just backed Blac Chyna up in her allegations about how the Kardashians are trying to pimp her daughter. Chyna recently started some drama with the Kardashians, accusing Khloe and her baby daddy of trying to steal her daughter away from her. But according to Kanye, the reality is shadier than that because the end game is to allegedly pimp Dream out like Kris did to her own daughters. Ciao, this is about to get insane because Kanye pulled up with receipts and he did not come to play. For years, fans have side-eyed Khloe Kardashian's obsession with claiming Dream as her own. It's one thing to be the fun hands-on aunt, but Khloe always seemed to take it a step too far, almost as if she wanted to be Dream's actual mother. This wasn't even the first time she and Tristan tried to act like Dream was theirs. Khloe openly called herself Dream's third parent, and more often than not, Dream was seen at her house, even when Rob was the one who was supposed to have custody. Now, Chyna has always kept it cute and never really taken offense. She even defended Khloe when the internet came for Khloe after the third parent comment.
I did really like seeing you and Khloe agreeing that it takes a village to raise a child. I know she got some backlash because people thought she was saying, oh, I'm, you know, Dream's other mother or whatnot.
I feel like I'm like a third parent for Dream, I guess. I mean, I do know how important it is for Dream to have a great maternal influence, whether that be from me or her own mom or whoever. It's important in wherever she gets it from.
I think she was trying to clarify to say it's all of us that are raising her. And you agreed.
Yeah, and then you have to think too, like, they're so close, you know, like Rob and Khloe, like they're like this. Yeah. So of course, like Dream's gonna be like this with True, you know what I mean? Because like that's, you know, that's like Khloe's baby. Rob is like,
exactly.
You know what I mean? So of course, like Dreamy, yeah.
Like I said, Chyna kept it cute. She has been on a personal journey of self-discovery and seems to have really grown as a person. However, it looks like the Kardashians have been playing in her face and have gotten bolder in trying to take Dream away from her. The last straw came a couple of days ago when Khloe's baby daddy, Tristan, tried to claim Dream as his own child. This time around, he didn't mince words or try to play coy with it. He straight up said that Dream was his daughter.
I have 2 daughters, and their names are Dream is my oldest daughter, and True is the second oldest. Those are my 2 girls, and I miss you guys so much. I love you guys. Dreamy, I have 2 daughters, and their names are Dream is my oldest daughter, and True is the second oldest. Those are my 2 girls, and I miss you guys so much. I love you guys.
Chyna immediately stepped in to check him, making it clear that Dream was her and Rob's child and would never be his. She wrote, Dream has one mother, Chyna White, and one father, Robert Kardashian. I usually don't speak up, but I'm done. Stop all this clout chasing involving my daughter. As parents, we have joint custody, and we also have a beautiful, healthy co-parenting relationship. Yeah, check them, Chyna. Fans couldn't help but clock the irony of Tristan Thompson trying to claim Dream as his own when he had been a complete deadbeat to his own son. And not just any son. I'm talking about the baby he had with Marilee Nichols, the woman he cheated on Khloe with. For months, Tristan denied paternity, acting like the baby didn't exist until a court-ordered DNA test forced him to acknowledge the truth. Even after that, he barely showed any interest in being a father to the child. Yet, somehow he had all the time in the world to play stepdad to Dream. The same man who went out of his way to avoid responsibility for his own son was suddenly stepping up for Rob's daughter. Tristan didn't even see his son with Marilee Nichols in the first year or so of the boy's life. He paid some child support, but that was about it. It was the same situation with his first son, Prince, who he had with Jordan Craig before he met Khloe. Even before he got involved with the Kardashians, reports painted him as a pretty absent father, neglecting his role in Prince's life. So here's the kicker. The only time Tristan seemed to step up as a dad was when Khloe was in the picture, mostly because of her celebrity status. Suddenly, he was Mr. Family Man when it came to claiming Dream as his own. It's the hypocrisy for me, and Chyna wasn't about to let him get away with this. Now this is where things get interesting. Chyna is not alone in this fight, because Kanye is also backing her up, claiming that the Kardashians allegedly have a sinister plan in place to pimp out Dream. Kanye has been trying to warn us about Kris Jenner's manipulation for a long time, like the time he exposed Kris for pimping out her daughters and forcing them to pose for Playboy. He wrote, "Y'all don't have so over my black children and where they go to school. They will not do Playboy and adult tapes." He also vowed that he would never let Kris pimp out his daughters. He said, "Don't let Kris make you do Playboy like she made Kylie and Kim do. Hollywood is a giant brothel. Adult content destroyed my family and I deal with the addiction and Instagram promotes it. Not gonna let it happen to Northie in Chicago." He then claimed that the Kardashians had already started trying to exploit his daughters while trying to manipulate him and spin the narrative, saying, "Anybody that says I'm spiraling when I express the undeniable truths is a sheep. Shut up and worry about your own kids. I obviously am dealing with wars at the highest level of control and discrimination based on the level I'm operating at. I know girls who sell their bodies that don't agree with how my daughters are displayed." So yeah, Kanye has a real beef with the Kardashians and how they exploit their girls, which explains why he has Chyna's support right now. According to Kanye, this all traces back to the mastermind herself, Kris Jenner. Fans have long speculated that Kris spent years prioritizing her daughters' careers while leaving Rob behind, turning the Kar Jenner sisters into a billion-dollar empire while Rob struggled to keep up. And now, with Dream being the only grandchild carrying the Kardashian name, Kris reportedly saw her as the family's golden ticket, the key to keeping the brand alive without Rob having any real control. If that was the case, then it wasn't just about Khloe being an overbearing aunt, it was about the Kardashian machine making sure Dream stayed under their influence, whether Rob liked it or not. Ever since Blac Chyna lost her defamation case against Kris, Kim, Khloe, and Kylie in 2022, the Kar Jenner women have been going out of their way to make her look like a bad mom. It was almost like they were trying to rewrite the narrative about her parenting, constantly putting her on blast whenever they could. Khloe, in particular, who has always been oddly involved in Rob's relationships, especially when it came to his relationship with Chyna, really took things a step further. She publicly claimed that Dream spends more time at her house than with Chyna, implying that Chyna wasn't present enough in her daughter's life. This move wasn't just petty, it was strategic, painting Chyna as an absent mother, while Khloe positioned herself as the ideal, hands-on figure in Dream's life. It was all about creating this narrative that Chyna was failing as a mom, and Khloe was stepping in to take over. Allegedly, it was just another round of the Kar Jenner clan using their influence to manipulate public perception. But here's the part Khloe conveniently left out. Chyna never actually chose for Dream to spend so much time at Khloe's house. The custody arrangement between Chyna and Rob was supposed to be 50-50, and Chyna herself set the record straight with TMZ, saying that if Dream ended up at Khloe's place more often, it was because Rob was the one leaving her there, not her. It's almost as if the Kar Jenners, with their media influence, tried to rewrite the custody story. We all know Kris Jenner has been tight with Harvey Levin, the founder of TMZ, for years, so it's no surprise that TMZ spun the narrative to make it look like Chyna only had 30% custody, while pushing the idea that Khloe was Dream's real mom. A clear attempt to discredit Chyna as a mother. But Chyna wasn't having any of it. She shut down that nonsense in a heartbeat, making it clear that she and Rob had equal custody of Dream. It wasn't Chyna's decision for Dream to be with Khloe so much. It was Rob who kept handing Dream over to her, trying to paint a picture that just wasn't true.
And I may be wrong here, but my recollection is that you had Dream about 30% of the time. Is that something you're moving to change? And are you communicating with Rob and I guess the rest of the family? Because I know Khloe played a part in raising Dream as well. Has this made inroads for you in that department?
We share 50-50 custody. That's number one. Also, too, I cannot control if Khloe is watching Dream at Rob's house. That's when he has his daughter.
Court documents showed that Rob had actually given the Kardashians the green light to trademark Dream's name for a whole range of businesses, from skincare to clothing, toys, and even advertising. It was a bold move that made it clear they were trying to capitalize on Dream's name for profit without consulting Chyna at all. Thankfully, Chyna wasn't having it. She quickly stepped in to stop the trademark requests, and the judge sided with her, shutting down all 5 trademarks. It was another attempt by the Kardashians to control the narrative and make money off Dream, but Chyna wasn't about to let them profit off her daughter without her say-so. However, Kris did not let that stop her. It turns out that Kris is the one running Rob's official Instagram, and it's more than a little weird how there are more pictures of Dream on his page than of Rob himself. The whole thing gives off the vibe that Kris is using Rob's social media to push Dream into the spotlight, almost as if she's trying to solidify her place in Dream's public image. On top of that, Kris and Khloe managed to get Dream to appear in a commercial for Country Crock, and Chyna was completely blindsided by it. She didn't find out about the deal until the very last minute, and that had to be frustrating. It's clear the Kardashians have been maneuvering behind the scenes, using Dream's likeness to make money, without even giving Chyna a heads up or any say in the matter.
Because you guys are trying to get me to eat the same way you eat,
and I don't want to taste a difference. However you would use traditional dairy butter, it's the same way you would use country crock plant butter. And you use it 1 for 1. And I feel so excited because I'm trying to do less dairy, and I've been trying to find swaps that you don't taste the difference.
At first glance, the Country Crock ad might seem like a harmless, everyday gig. But when you dig a little deeper, it starts to raise some major red flags. Do Kris and Khloe really need to be out here making money off selling butter? And why include Dream and True in a commercial for a product that isn't even geared toward kids? The more you think about it, the more it looks like this could be part of Kris's long-term strategy to build up Dream's brand while she's still young. The idea seems to be getting her as much attention as possible now, so by the time Dream's old enough to start her own ventures, she'll already have a built-in following. It's all about creating that early celebrity momentum. But if you're wondering why an 8-year-old would have a following, that's when things start to get even more unsettling. We all know the Kardashians built their empire by catering to the male gaze, capitalizing on their looks and sex appeal. Kris has always pushed her daughters to use their appearance as a way to gain fame, and now it seems like she might be laying the groundwork for Dream to follow the same path. If Dream is being groomed for this type of public attention at such a young age, it raises some serious questions about how far Kris is willing to go to build her empire, and how much she's willing to exploit her grandchildren for that success. The wildest part? Kris's daughters are now following in her footsteps, using their own kids to build the next generation of the Kardashian empire. Kim recently filed 4 trademarks under North's name, and it looks like North is about to have her own skincare line and toy brand. It's crazy how they're already positioning her as a little mogul, setting her up to make money before she even hits her teens. But it doesn't stop there. According to the US Sun, Kim also filed trademarks for advertising and entertainment under North's name, meaning she's planning to use North for sponsored social media posts and paid appearances at events. It's clear Kim's thinking long-term, making sure North's brand is in place early on. The whole thing starts to feel less like childhood and more like a business plan, one that's being executed while North is still too young to fully understand the implications. Now, it's starting to look like everything Kim's been doing with North is exactly what Kris and Khloe are trying to replicate with Dream. Khloe's still pushing this narrative that she's the one taking care of Dream, and if you check out her Instagram, it's hard to miss. She posts way more pictures of Dream than she does of her own son, Tatum, which is weird to say the least. Chyna isn't playing around, and she's already called out the Kardashians a few times for trying to turn her daughter into a business opportunity. She's made it clear that she's not letting them use Dream for profit. On Karesha Please, Young Miami's talk show, Chyna shared that if it were her choice, she'd never share photos of her kids on social media. She explained that they're already surrounded by enough external influence and don't need more exposure or negativity.
And I barely post my kids because, like, honestly, they're gonna be like who they are because of the parents and the family that's surrounded by both, you know what I mean? So it's like, why even burn my kids out?
So, at the end of the day, the only reason Dream is constantly on social media is because Rob is allowing Kris and Khloe to profit from her image. Chyna has been clear that her priority is protecting Dream from the spotlight and letting her focus on nurturing her creativity, rather than making her obsessed with her appearance. She wants Dream to have a childhood where she can explore and grow without the pressure of being constantly judged by the public eye. Though Chyna didn't name any names specifically, it's pretty obvious who's been instilling the idea that looks are everything. Now, it's starting to look like people are questioning whether Rob even deserves 50-50 custody, given how checked out he seems from his parenting duties. It's becoming clear that he's constantly leaving Dream in Kris and Khloe's care, which is making it seem like he's not stepping up to his responsibilities as a father. And speaking of Rob, why has he been an absent parent? Of all the Kardashian siblings, he seemed the most likely to be a hands-on parent. I mean, Kendall... He's also known to be the most chill, down-to-earth Kardashian, and has made it clear that he hates the fame that comes with being a Kardashian and would rather not deal with all that. So why on earth does he not take charge of his own daughter? Well, according to some sources, that might be a result of his health. Not only does he struggle with his physical health, but there have been rumors of him allegedly struggling with an addiction as well. In 2023, there were blind items going around that the real reason that Kris hit him was that he had allegedly suffered an OD. According to reports, on December the 27th at 3:17 a.m., Rob arrived unconscious to the hospital with pale face and blue lips. He overdosed with alcohol and OxyContin, painkiller. Fentanyl was also found in his blood. He stayed under surveillance and doing exams all night long. When he woke up, he allegedly cried and screamed, "Blac Chyna ruined my life. I can't enjoy time with my kid without snakes and crows monitoring my attitude and behavior. I miss my kid. I want to die. The fame is not for me. I'll go to rehab without even kissing or hugging my child. She's my kid." The reports continued. Kris Jenner has allegedly called the hospital and directed that no information is leaked to the press. Rob Kardashian is doing okay. He asked for the 3 security agents who were in his room to call Kris Jenner. He wanted to talk to her directly and not through the phone. 47 minutes later, Kris and Khloe arrived to the hospital. Rob told them he did not want to go to rehab, he just wants to see his child and did not want the press to know he overdosed. Khloe agreed with him about not going to rehab. Kris was not so sure. Now, we don't know how true this is, but it would kind of explain a lot, especially as to why Rob doesn't have his daughter all that often, which would explain why Khloe has been able to do all she has been doing to Dream. Given that Rob is allegedly still struggling with his own issues and doesn't seem all that involved in raising Dream, fans are now pointing fingers at Kris, accusing her of abandoning Rob when he needed her most. The theory is that Kris couldn't make money off Rob in the same way she could with her daughters, so she let him fend for himself, only stepping in when she saw a financial opportunity in Dream. Now, with Kris pushing to turn Dream into the next Kar-Jenner influencer, it's clear she's willing to do whatever it takes to keep the money rolling in. No shame, no boundaries. Thankfully, Dream has Chyna and Kanye in her corner, people who aren't afraid to stand up and protect her from being used as a pawn in the Kardashians' empire. It's definitely hard to ignore the way the Kardashians have been messing with Chyna for so long, and it really does seem like she's finally reached her breaking point. After everything that's gone down, it's clear she's not letting them manipulate or use her daughter anymore. But what do y'all think about Angela checking Tristan like that? Is she doing the right thing by standing her ground and trying to get Dream back from the Kardashians? Drop your thoughts below, and don't forget to check out this next video for more on this drama.